Well, good morning. This is Stephanie with the Everyday Dog Positive Training. I probably will repeat myself on a lot of things if you've watched some of the other blog video things that I put here on YouTube. But I wanted to give you some practical advice. I know I've talked a lot about theory, and I think I tried to do this one time before, and I end up going back into the theory. But here, I'm going to try to stick with really practical stuff, okay? All right. So let's start with the basic, dog's name. Now, some of these things will be overlap, and you'll see what I mean. Dog's name, okay, Fido, all right? So we're going to say the dog comes to you. Now, maybe it's a puppy, maybe it's a dog you just rescued, maybe it's a dog that, for whatever reason, you're changing its name. Usually it's a rescue or a puppy, so I mentioned those two. Anyway, what you do, here's another thing. You have several dogs. You have a dog, and they know their name, but there's a new dog in the house, and you want to teach them each other's name. Okay, there is one more. All right, so what we want to do is we want to have the dog sit in front of you, or dogs sit in front of you, however many they are, singular or plural, and you take a piece of food or something moderately good. It kind of depends on the dog. If it's a dog that is like food, you can go with kibble. If it's a dog that's, you can go with something a little better. Don't go real high value, because if you do, they get so on the high value that they kind of lose their train of thought as to what's going on. I find that you can accidentally distract your dog with too high a value. So anyway, let's say we have the perfect value, and we have the dog, and we have decided we're naming the dog Fido. Okay, so he takes some food, put it in the dog's mouth, and say Fido. Do that, repeat this, Fido. Now if you have two dogs, Fido, Spot, Fido, Spot. Just being sure that we don't have fights between food, very important, and there's some things that you would have to do before that. Separate video, I'm not going to talk about that right here. If you have any food aggression, call me because that's a real specific thing, and it depends on the individual situation. Okay, basic idea though, dog's name, Fido. So you take the food, put it in the dog's mouth, Fido, Fido, repeat. Maybe, half a dozen to a dozen times. And that's it. Don't have to sit. The dog, she, he, whoever, Fido doesn't have to sit or do anything. All you're asking them to do is basically look at you. They're looking at you, and you're giving them food, and you're just saying Fido. All right, now you say, what's the deal with that? Well, okay. I always joke that there's only about 4 names in America for dogs: cookie, treat, snack, and biscuit. Okay? Because we say you wanna, cookie, treat, snack, biscuit. And we do that, and we say those words while we're putting the food in the dog's mouth. And then people complain that their dog will only do it for the treat, biscuit, and or snack, cookie. Okay. Well, the dog is doing exactly what you taught them. You said that sound, you made that sound, snack, cookie, treat, biscuit, and you gave them food. So when you say it, well, kind of like, why wouldn't they look at you? Isn't that kind of like common sense that they would? So use the name that you choose, whatever it may be, and do the same thing. Fido, Spot, Rover, whatever. And that dog, then when you say their name, doing it this way, putting the picture, their name with the food, putting it together, when you say their name, they will probably look at you. And then you can say, what a good puppy. And they probably, guess what they would do? They would come to you. Oh, good. So when they're coming towards you, what do you think you should say? Come. Aha. You have a picture. The dog is coming. and, well, it looks more like a spider, sorry. Dog is coming to you. You're going to say, come. You're going to put that word on the picture. So you have Fido, Spot, name, dog name. So we'll say Fido. Come. And then we reward. Okay. So now we have dog, Fido. Dog looks at me. Dog starts coming to me anyway. I label it, come. Dog is moving. While the dog is moving, very important. And then when the dog arrives, just give the cookie. Please don't ask for anything. Don't ask for the sit. Don't wave food at the dog's face. Keep the food out of your hands, on the counter, in a bowl, separate, on a paper towel, whatever you want, in your pocket, in a fanny pack, in a treat pouch. Do not reach for it before the dog comes. Because what will happen is they will see the reaching or the sound of the kibble as the cue. What I mean by cue is the command. People think like, oh, they're, doing it already because they know, because I'm reaching. Yeah, because you taught them that. You taught them that when I reach in here, or I reach here, or I make that sound with kibble, they're not stupid. They know what's coming. So they start doing something that makes sense. They look at you or they come to you. And then when you say come or you say their name, they're like, huh? Because that's not the cue you taught them. You taught them reaching and grabbing and sounds of kibbles and boxes and opening jars and going to the cabinet. See, we teach our dogs these things. We think because we're saying words simultaneously that they're going, oh, we understand the word. It goes with you reaching for the food and you're getting saying the word and it goes with the picture. It doesn't work like that. Everything that you do will trump what you are saying. They will disregard anything that comes out of here for the picture. So that's why you have to keep everything clean but the words. So when you say come, it needs to be without a lot of body movements. Now, you say, oh, what about hand signals? They're great. They're wonderful. Throw them on after the dog learns the word. Why? Because you'll blame your dog for being bad, stubborn, or stupid, which they are not, because they're not responding to the sound word that you're making and then doing what you want out of context from body language, hand signals, reaching, getting cookies. Then you say, oh, see, that's right. They'll only do it for the cookie. Again, I repeat, you taught them that. So be very, very, very careful of your body language when you're teaching verbal. So if you're teaching words, sounds, remember to a dog it's all sounds, because it would be a different sound if you lived in a different country, that's all. It's a sound that you make coming out your pie hole here, and your dog hears it and gets a picture. Now that's what we want to have happen. So we want to make sure that it isn't picture for picture, that we're capturing a picture behavior and we're putting a sound on it. We want to put sounds, words on pictures. So we have to, again, keep it nice and clean. Watch how you're moving, watch how you're standing, or you're bending, or you're reaching. I mean, small dogs, if you bend over, sometimes they sit because that body language is standing in front of them. Standing in front of a dog is body language for sit. I have stood Try walking along with your dog and say sit. Now, this is a dog you're saying. I know my dog knows sit. No problem, right? They know the word, no problem. Walking alongside, I ask my dog to sit, and my dog looks at me like they've never heard the word before. Different position. You're walking alongside. You're not standing directly in front. This and this, two different pictures for a dog. Truly. I know it sounds like no, they don't formulate that way, okay? So, and it's pretty easy. You can use a little bait and lure to trick your dog into sitting on the side when you're walking. And good tricks like that, I call them good tricks. There's bad tricks where you trick your dog into getting into the bathtub, and then you spray water all over them, or you say come, and then you pull ticks off of them. God forbid you got ticks, but cut their nails, or drag them to the bathroom and put them in the tub, or drag them to their crate and throw them in their crate. When you say come, the result for the dog should always be a happy event. That way your dog will always come. Now, it doesn't have to be food. It can just be love and affection and petting and touching and play, anything. But please, don't do something to your dog that they're going to be like, oh, that was no fun. I don't want to do that again. So when you say come, they go, I don't think so. Maybe they're going to do that thing to me they did before. Well, so be careful, alrighty? Now, when you have to do, just sidebar, when you have to do something to your dog, put them in a crate or take them to you don't have, another story. Okay, I'll just wait on that because that gets complicated. If you have to, say, okay, you see something on your dog, something hanging off their ear, and you're like, oh, they got a pine cone or Berber thing stuck in their ear, and you just want to take it out. You think you're like helping them. They got something stuck on their fur, and you're like, come here, honey, and then you start pulling on their fur. Just go over to your dog, take some biscuits or something, drop them to food, whatever, drop them on the ground, and just gently work it out of their fur. You go to them. Don't call them to you. Don't use the word come and then do that. So, again, there's a lot of things, and it gets into the intricacies of all of this. Like I said, call me. I'll give you the information for free over the phone. I don't mind. Anyway, okay, so that's their name and come. So, it's your name, Fido, food, keeping everything very clean, very clinical. Fido, dog looks at you. Fido, dog looks at you. Okay, first few times you just do simultaneously like this is okay, but it's very, and then you say Fido, and if hopefully they kind of, you give them, and again, do that as many times through the day as possible that you have time for, and within a day or two, really, one day maybe, your dog will respond to at least look at you with when there's no distractions. We start with no distractions when you say their name, and then you can be all happy and do the COME, they're coming and you're saying it, you're labeling the picture, you're sticking those two together, and when your dog arrives, yay, and then doing that's all wonderful. And then when you stop, very important, when you okay, yay, good, bounce the ball, yay, happy puppy, yay, and then do something like all done, or free dog, or whatever you like to say. That's it. Whatever you like to say, kind of keep it light, and then kind of accentuate that, and maybe throw a toy for them to go off, and then go about your business. Okay? All right. I know, sounds like a lot just for a simple thing, dog's name, but it's actually really, really simple, and it's just rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. If you can do it a dozen times in a day, by one day your dog will know their name. If you stretch it out over a few days, well, it will take a few more days. Okay. All right. All right. So that's look at me. And I was going to say, 2 little packages that I like to teach all my customers is to teach the humans to do for the dog, is to say dog's name, which is look at me from over there, acknowledge my existence. It's not the same as focus. Focus is like really focus. This is more like, hey, I'm talking to you, look at me, pay attention, I'm over here, hey. And then the dog looks up, yeah, and they come. So look at me, dog name, come, yay, to me, and then sit. We can add that sit. Most people have their dogs, they know sit. So it's just tagging it on to the end, which is pretty straightforward. Don't ask for it in the beginning. Just reward the look at me and the focus. No, back up. Dog's name and the COME. So it'll be dog's name. You're right in front of the dog. You don't have to ask them to come. It's dog's name, dog's name. And then you wait, and then you say the dog's name, and they look at you, and they reward that. Okay. Then you have the dog at a distance, walking around the house, not doing anything in particular, and you say their name, and they look up at you, and yay, and then you stick the COME on it, come, and reward that as on arrival. And once that's really, really good, with no distractions, in the house, nice and clinically clean, straightforward, and pretty reliable, sure, throw the sit on there. Now, if the sit happens spontaneously when the dog arrives, even if it's the first time, just be very happy and reward the dog and tell them they're wonderful. Of course, why not? And then, but just that. Don't go into the DOWN after that, because you really don't want your dog to look at you, come to you, SIT, and then lay down. Hence the 2 packages. Okay. I start with look at me, move toward me, come, and then add the sit. And that's your whole nice little package, which is, hey, dog, come over here and stay with me, sit. Okay, great, right? Then there's the go away from me to a place, usually a bed or crate. Go to this place and lay down there. That's where I put the down in, because that's, they're going to lay down. They're going to stand on their bed forever. And then stay there. Because what do we do in our daily routine life? Hey, Fido, come here. Okay. Hey, puppy, thank you for coming. You're such a good boy. And hey, Fido, why don't you go in your bed and lay down, or go in your crate. Go in your crate and go lay down. Be quiet. Go lay down, okay? Go over there and go lay down. All right. That's we kind of like, that's a daily happening. So let's teach it in the way that we use it. So the go away from me to your crate and lay down, I'll have to do that in a separate video, because it's already, oh my gosh, look at that, 17 minutes I'm talking here about one little thing. I didn't even get to barking or anything. Oh, well, something? I can tag that on real easy, because this is the idea for barking, and this is so simple, really. This is so simple, you're going to go, duh. All right? Okay. Dog's in front of you, not barking, not doing anything, just sitting with you. Do the same thing with the food. Take some food, put it in their mouth, and say, quiet. Do that 5 or 6 times. Because what will happen is you will find that your dog will, sorry, I had to look at my phone for a second. Your dog will do the same thing. That when you say quiet, they'll stop what they're doing and look at you. Guess what? They're not barking. They're being quiet. Yay! And then you want them to come to you away from the window or whatever they're barking at, right? So it kind of goes together quite nicely. And so in a way, their name is the same thing as quiet. Basically, it's look at me. Never mind that, look at me. Now, some people like to use leave it for some of these things. Basically, it's the same thing. Never mind that, look at me. Usually leave it is involving something the dog is maybe picking up or, I don't know, going after, So for us, it's different. And the distraction level might be much higher. So distractions, it could be simply the dog notices something way over there and looks at it, and you might even say, you could say any of the above. Fido, dog turns and looks at you. Oh, they're not barking, so you wouldn't say quiet. And you might say leave it, dog stops and looks at you. Same thing. So your dog should look at you when you say their name, and when you say leave it. Those are 2 times your dog should turn their head away and look at you. So they're looking this way, they're turning and looking at you. Their name and leave it. So basically their name is either their name, Fido, or leave it. It's okay, as long as they stop what they're doing and look at you. Hey, problem solved, right? Then the quiet would be similar, but obviously they're barking at something. So you say they're barking, and you now say quiet, and we hope that they will look at you. Now, if you haven't fully developed that, what you want to do is walk up to behind the dog nicely. Don't walk up like, I want you to be quiet. Walk up like, oh, okay, I got to do this thing here. I got to get up. I got to go over there. Walk up behind your dog, barking out the window. And you might tap him on the shoulder. You might squeak a toy. You might even rub some real high value treat on their nose. Depending on the dog, please don't get bit. Because there are some dogs that will grab that food and go back to barking, and your fingers will be. So be very careful. Use common sense, please, and caution whenever you're putting food toward a dog's face that is highly aroused, because they do grab, and we all know that. But again, it's one of those things that I have to be there and actually do with you for your dog, because every dog is different, their arousal level. I don't know what it's going to be until I'm there, and I can better help you with your dog. But the idea is get closer to your dog, interrupt your dog with a positive interrupter. You can, like I said, squeak a toy. Now, here's another thing you could do, is you could take food and you could bounce it off of them, so that if you get your fingers in there, you take a little bit of food, something fairly large, because you want them to see it when it lands. So you're going to bounce it off their body so that they go, what? And they go like, ooh, and they see it and they move away. I know you're going to say, oh, but you're giving them a reward for barking. Well, sometimes you have to break that eye contact just to get them that first time. And then what happens is, once they kind of turn away, oh my God, you're so wonderful, yay, good puppy, 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 get high-pitched and noise and loud and happy and jump up and down, whatever you got to do to get the dog to focus back on you. Usually this is going to be something that'll, at least if they're just barking at the window, they'll probably come back. Now, if there's something right outside the window and it is a really, really close, or your dog is really, really territorial, again, these are things you really need a professional in your house to help with. But if it's just your average dog that, you put the couch there or the chair there and you open the shades so that he can see outside, because he loves to look outside, and then complain that the dog is barking at everything that goes by, duh. Don't give your dog the opportunity to do that. Move the couch, move the chair, put something there. Don't teach your dog that is okay to do. I don't care if he likes it. Sure, maybe he does. I don't know. What is like? I like to be crazy out of my mind and bark at things? I don't know. Does that really constitute liking something because he does it? I'm not sure about that. I think your dog probably likes to be calm and happy more than he likes to be aroused and out of control. Think about that, okay? Alrighty, so let's not give our dog a platform to bark out the window. Barking on the leash reactivity, whole nother video, and I think I've done some on that. And I've already now, 23 minutes I've been talking. All right, you're probably bored with me by now. Okay, so anyway, basically, look at me, never mind that thing, is their name, come away from that thing, obviously come, and or leave it, and it could be quiet in the house, barking out the window situation. I'm just trying to cover like things that happen every single day for people, and they're not dogs that are highly, not aggressive dogs, not dogs that are so highly aroused that, they're ripping curtains and things like this. Gotta, understand that when I'm giving these, anytime we're talking in any dog trainer talking in a video or in a book, it gets complicated because there are so many variations, all right, of like what happens and personalities of dogs and situations and that. Just trying to cover the basics here again. And I'll do another one, I'm sure, hopefully, and I'll probably repeat myself again with a lot of these things. So it's coming up in 25 minutes, so I'm going to end it right here. And you have a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless.